trip with me, and hopefully you can see how the hood, suburbs, and Main Street are all connected. Enough respect, I mean, we network across the globe, cause it's a global market in case you didn't know. And since we all about information flow, let me be the first one to welcome you to Tech Zone with whole Amadeus Lane. Let's talk tech, cause technology changing the game. It's all good in the hood, it's everywhere. Now let's get to the show, cause we live on air, yeah.
Welcome to this edition of the Tech Zone. I'm live here on the floor of the Consumer Electronics Show 2017. It's been a busy day. It's been an awesome ride. We've been here since Tuesday, and I don't want to go home. You know, it's kind of like that vacation that you go on when you're younger. You wait all year long to go on that vacation, and the vacation comes and it goes by so quick, and you're like, I can't wait till the next one. That's how I feel when I'm here at CES, and got a chance to interview some great talent, some great guests, great innovation out there. And it's always just one of my highlights of being here at CES when I run into colleagues that I've met before and worked with before. And this morning, right in front of our broadcast bay, this beautiful woman was there, and I was like, she seems nice, she seems awesome. And I end up knowing her from a station I worked at before. She and I talked on the phone together. I interviewed some representatives from her company. And when she said her name, I was like, you know me. She looked at me like, no, I really don't. But if you say you know me, that's fine. But she is a great person to work with, great company. And joining me right now on the Tech Zone is the lovely Starr Ackerman from IK Multimedia. Starr, how are you, my dear?
I'm having a great time. Second day of CES, and we are rocking it.
Yes, we are. And Starr is the public relations and artist relations manager over at IK Multimedia. So, Starr, let's talk about CES and just what it means for you to be here at CES.
Well, at this particular CES, we're here basically to help out journalists. The journalists that are walking the show floor, if they don't have the correct gear so that they can do their interviews and capture audio and video properly, they're not doing their jobs properly, or they're lacking, I would say. But we have the tools to help them out. So this particular CES, I sent out an email saying, hey, citizen journalism for under $200. Right, and I handed out free microphones, iRig Mic Labs, so that they could put them into their Android or their iPhone, and then do on-the-spot interviews wherever they were. So whether they needed an iRig Mic HD, or an iRig Mic Lav, or an iRig Mic Field, or anything they basically needed, I have a bunch of stuff at our booth and wanted to help everybody out.
And Starr, we are so grateful that you are definitely doing that. And, when we look at the innovation that you guys are talking about with journalists, what has been some of the feedback when it comes to, what ones you're talking about?
Well, there was a certain gentleman who's sitting in this room that was super jazzed about this product right here and started gushing.
I did.
And said, oh, I need that. You know what, Starr? I need that. I need it. And I'm like, oh, I want to hear that exact same sentiment when we go on live, okay?
All right. So I'm going to say it right here. Starr, I need that, Starr. I need that. I need that.
How badly do you need it?
I need it so bad that if I was able to get it, I could probably walk out of this wheelchair right now. I probably could. I haven't walked in 23 years, Starr. So maybe with the grace of God, I can walk. And if you give that to me, I think I can.
All right, you got it, dude. Anything. I'll give you 2 of them.
What? Are you kidding me, Starr? That is amazing. That is amazing, Starr. And how does that technology work?
Okay, so what you're looking at is the iClip AV. The iClip AV is the very first smartphone broadcast mount so that you can essentially ditch the big backpack and basically your sound guy with the other big backpack. And you can just use your Android phone or your iPhone, any standard phone, and then put it onto the stabilizer of the iClip AV. Now the iClip AV has a microphone preamp in it, and has phantom power, so it's XLR, an XLR input that goes inside. So it's really though best suited for a wireless mic receiver setup. So there's a clip on the front where you put the receiver. But if you have an XLR connected mic, that's cool too. But the idea behind it is that, it syncs directly into the phone, the audio. So you don't have to go back and edit video and audio and time code, and you just eradicate all of that put together. Now, on top of that, it's a stabilization device. So if you want to hold it, just as a handheld, fine. But if you want to set it up with a tripod, you have just eliminated another person. So you can just be your own one-man or one-woman show.
And you know what, Starr? That's not bad at all, because sometimes, and I know I'll probably get some hate tweets out there when I say this, sometimes the biggest divas in the world are the ones who are kind of like the cameramen, or let's say some of the other people out there that you don't have to deal with anymore. Now you can just deal with yourself, and that's pretty cool, Starr.
Yeah, you just eliminated your friend who's sitting right here.
Yes. But unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck with her. But it's no problem. No, but Starr, let's talk about some of the other things that you guys are showing journalists here today too, as well.
Well, in another situation, for example, last year we were in the South Hall, and I had about 24 hours notice that Flo Rida was going to show off his technology with his IK branded product, the iLab. So we were going to have him for about an hour to do autograph signings and to do some interviews. So I sent out an email, with giving, of course, editorial zero time, because I had zero time in advance to know about it. And I got a bunch of crybaby emails back saying, "Oh, I don't have anything to work with. I can't bring anything from my broadcast booth. I have nothing to go and capture audio or video with." And I just kind of chuckled to myself, because I'm like, hey, do you have a phone? Because if you have a phone and you have an iRig mic lav, then you have an interview. And this particular product, it's just a simple lavalier microphone that plugs into your Android or into your iPhone. And it's great audio, and that way you don't have to miss the Flo Rida interview. So we had a bunch of people come from their broadcast booths with their phones, and we linked them all up, and they were stoked.
They said, "Let's do this," right?
That's right.
And that's one thing that I appreciate, because the HD mic that Starr has here, I want to tell you a little story about it. You guys see me cover a lot of events. You see me cover Comic-Con, WonderCon. And you saw me interview the cast of The Man in the High Castle. And the mic that's in that video is the beginning version of this one right here that Starr sent me about a couple of years ago. So Starr, you are a part of history with The Man in the High Castle when I interviewed the cast, because I used that microphone.
That's a really cool story.
And it was great too. It's great technology. And you should see some of the people that when I have the microphone hooked up to my cell phone, some of the old curmudgeons of journalism who have all these expensive things, and they're like, and what do you have right there? And I'm telling you, the quality is awesome, Starr, and you guys did a lot of great innovation with this.
Thank you for the kind compliments. It's really, honestly, the CTO and the CEO of our company are really visionaries, and they're also musicians. So everything that they've ever thought up or dreamed up has really benefited the community as far as making music or broadcasting and being portable.
I tell you, it's great. So, what are some other things you brought to show us here on the screen today too?
Well, this is the iRig mic HD.
Oh, yeah.
So you said you had the original iRig mic, and
Yep.
that one was actually, IK Multimedia was the very first company to ever create a product or a microphone to plug into your iPhone. So, we made history when we did that, and now this is the digital version of it. That this is a condenser electret microphone. The other one was as well, but this is a little bit higher quality. Some different gain settings and stuff like that.
It's awesome. And Starr, so you can see that I'm not lying. After the interview, I'm gonna pull the microphone out of my backpack, because I keep it in my backpack with my mic flag. And I actually did some reporting at Unveil during CTA 2, and the Consumer Electronics Show. I got to remember CTA, not CEA anymore. But I was able to do some interviews that, and I tell you, the convenience of it, Starr, is just amazing. And how easy is it to use? 'Cause some people are like, well, do I have to do this setting in my phone? Do I have to do that? How easy is it, Starr?
It's super simple to use, and on top of that, like for example, you're a broadcaster, and you come from like a radio background, right? And there's these really expensive microphones in the studio, right? And
Absolutely.
IQ Multimedia's niche in the market has always been taking the best gear and turning it into software. So we modeled all the best microphones that you could possibly have, and then we put them into an application called Mic Room. So if you use any of our microphones, they're perfectly calibrated to get that specific microphone sound. So let's say you're really hooked on going into the studio because you have to have that certain microphone and you won't use anything else. That is a thing of the past. You can do all of your recording at home.
It's awesome. Awesome. So, Starr, let's talk about the company, and you guys also cater to the musicians too. And if we can for a little while, let's talk about that and what you guys are doing there. You guys do a lot of stuff with when MIDI was real hot. Now you guys doing other things with other technology. So what are some things on the musician side of it that you guys are helping musicians meet the need when it comes to innovation with the technology out there?
IK Multimedia has been in business for 21 years, and we started off as a software company in pro audio. So one of the very first products that we made was it was called T-Rax, and T-Rax was a mastering product, but it was all modeled after the real mastering gear that you would use. And then we did Amplitube. We made another product called Amplitube, which is modeled after all the best amps and effects, guitar and bass amps and effects, and we ported that to the iPhone. And that very first commercial that you saw where someone was playing a guitar with their iPad, that was Amplitube and iRig.
Wow, so you guys were on the right side of history when it comes to digital and also innovation out there. What has been some of the feedback, especially because sometimes musicians who grew up in the analog age like I did, and then kind of gravitated to the digital age, what's been some of the, I don't want to say, some of the resistance from the old school? Once they try it out, I'm sure they see how easy it is, but can you talk a little bit about that?
It's a thing about the way people work, honestly. Most musicians have a setup, whether that's Pro Tools, and they have like specific plugins that they use, and we make a lot of those plugins, and they refuse to like upgrade their software or usually their hardware, because they don't want to lose some of the other stuff that they have. And when you want to, and you'd be so surprised that some of the greatest composers in the world today are working off of like Windows 7 laptops and 32-bit systems, like on their Macs still, because they just refuse to move into they don't want to move, they don't want to mess up what they have. But if they just took the time to dive into the technology, then they could ditch a lot of the gear that they have, because it's already available inside the computer, and even so inside their phone. So it's really important to embrace technology, and I guess as we have more musicians that are younger moving into this space now, they may never see an amplifier in the next 10 years. They just might always see an iPhone and an iPad and have 20 or 40 amplifiers.
And it makes it really helps musicians to keep up with the time. I remember maybe about 4 years ago, we were here, and LL Cool J was working with a company, software based, mixing, digital recording, and he did like a little seminar. And what happened was he and Neil did a song together. Neil was in New York, LL was here. So Neil sent him the track, LL rapped on it, sent it back to Neil, and then Neil was able to put his little spin on it. I think, and you're absolutely right, because I know some musicians out there, and I try to tell them, because that's my background too, I try to tell them, make it as easy as possible. But no, they want to get on the plane, They want to go into the studio. They want to burn all this money instead of using technology. And Starr, I don't think they realize how easy things will be for them. The stress level will go down. You can do things a lot more time sensitive now. But you're absolutely right. They just want to stay in their box.
Well, I mean, there are definitely musicians and composers who embraced it immediately. For example, when we put out our very first iPhone app, which became a genre of a bunch of apps called Groovemaker. Russ Landau, who is the composer for Survivor, he made music cues for Survivor on the plane using his iPhone, and then when he got off the plane or used Wi-Fi from the plane, he just sent it to the production office. And I mean, that's embracing technology at its highest, right there.
That is, because a few years back, I got Pro Tools and Reasons, and I started composing again, because ever since my accident, my fingers didn't work, and I was a keyboard player, so I was like, I was resistant, But then when I started fooling around with Pro Tools, some of the stuff I was able to create with Pro Tools, I was like, man, I'm still pretty good at it. And that's what I like about technology. When musicians embrace it in a way, they'll never go back. But for some reason, some are just so resistant, and even some broadcasters too. They don't want to use their smartphone because it's what do you call it? Perception. They want to lug all this big equipment around. Say, look what I got. I got this big old camera. Look at me. Blah 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 blah. But if I can do the same thing with my 4K smartphone, if I can do the same thing with my laptop, I say, game on, brother. My back is not going to hurt, right? Getting all that stuff into a location. So, Starr, we appreciate what you're doing over there. Anything else you'd like to articulate to our audience out there about IK Multimedia, how they can get in contact with you guys, and just, what's maybe on the horizon for you guys?
Well, I just want to let you know about a couple of releases we just had. We did just release a new virtual instrument called Moto Bass, and it's really, really awesome. It sounds amazing. And our CTO is a bass player, so you can imagine the kind of passion project and the craftsmanship that went into this plugin. You can do so much and tweak so much. Like, you can even change the frets. You can change where it was. It's really, really amazing sounding too. That was just released. We have another new release called Fender Collection 2 for Amplitude. So if you're a Fender fan, and there are many, since of course Fender is the #1 musical instruments company in the world, you can get the tones and the sounds of Fender, using your Mac or PC.
That's cool. That's what I'm talking about. It's all about technology. Starr, I'm going to put you on the spot before we let you go, my dear. What's the coolest piece? I know you've been working nonstop here. You might have not had an opportunity to go out and check out the floor or anything like some of us. I've been in this box since Wednesday. But tell me, what's some of the coolest tech you've personally seen here at CES 2017?
Well, I saw this really cool toilet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Because I've been to the bathroom is probably the most while I've been here. No, I'm just kidding. I had to lighten it up.
No, you're right.
No, you know what? I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I got stuck at the Star Wars booth with the drones, and I had to take pictures of it and send it to my friends. Like, look at this. So these little battle drones. But I mean, as far as music, I'm a musician, so I haven't really. This isn't a music show, so I'm not really super interested in a lot of the stuff that's here because, it's like automobiles and things like that. There was this cool 3D printed car that I took a picture of too.
Wow.
So I can show you a picture of that.
I would love that. I would love to see that. Now you opened up a can of worms. Said you're a Star Wars fan, okay? I am a huge Star Wars junkie. No doubt you've seen The Force Awakens, right?
Yes.
All right. Who do you think Rey's family is? Who do you think the young Jedi Rey, who her family is? Spoiler alert. Who do you think it is?
Oh, just tell me, dude.
Okay. All right. I believe.
Put me in suspense like that. Come on.
I believe she's a Kenobi. Because when Obi-Wan left the Jedi Order after Return of the Jedi, he was no longer to the code anymore. He can go out, get a wife, spread a seed around. And remember Yoda, Return of the Jedi. We said, he's our only hope. Yoda said, there is another, because Yoda knew
That's right. There is another.
that Obi-Wan, we thought it was Leia.
Yeah, we thought it was Leia.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and we lost a great one named Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia.
Oh, yeah. That
And her mom, Debbie Reynolds, that hurt my heart.
This has been such a crazy year. You know, with George Michael and Prince and so many. I mean, I remember doing a search, and it was only like April. We had already lost 76 icons in April of 2016. That was at that time, and we lost a ton more throughout the year. And I would be afraid to even look up that number right now because we would probably all sit here and be in tears. So, just to go back to what we were talking about before, lighten the conversation up a little bit. But yeah, my heart definitely goes out to the people and the families of all the musicians and the actors that we did lose.
Tell me about it, because it's a fraternity. Being a musician, when I grew up, I still, some of the guys I used to gig with, write with, we still have that kindred spirit, like family. And Starr, thank you so much for joining me, my dear, here on the Tech Zone. And let's give that information out again, how they can connect with you guys at IK Multimedia.
Wait, I wanted to say one thing because we were talking about Star Wars, right? So, one of the Rogue One trailers was made and composed with we have a product called the iLoud micro monitors. So, I have a personal connection to Star Wars at this point.
Whoa, that's a humble brag. That's what I'm talking about. Let people know this technology is everywhere, and make sure you hook up with Starr and the good folks over at IK Multimedia. Starr, awesome. I'm glad that we connected today. Glad we finally connected face to face. And do you remember me now? Just like, no. Do you remember me now?
What if, am I supposed to answer honestly?
Yes, because we're on the air. No, but it's totally cool.
Can I plead the fifth on this one?
Yeah, plead the fifth. You can do that. But I appreciate you introducing me to iRing, because your technology has helped me to cover a lot of events easily, and it works good too. So thank you so much, Starr.
No problem. And to answer your questions from before, you can find out more information about our products by just visiting our website, and that's ikmultimedia.com.
Awesome. So if you're watching this broadcast, make sure you tag Starr in it and tell her you liked what you heard from her, and some of the great things too. So what we're going to do, we're going to make like a tree and get out of here, in the words of Biff Tannen here on the Tech Zone. Stay tuned for more live broadcasts coming up here from the Consumer Technology Association. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. More after this.
Take a little trip with me, and hopefully you can see how the hood, suburbs, and Main Street are all connected. Enough respect, we network across the globe, cause it's a global market in case you didn't know.